What's going on, guys? BoxInOne here, back with another hoops discussion. Today we are talking about college sensation. He had a whole trend already. I went to AP, spent $200K. They sold me the frost. Rainbow face. Y'all know who we talk about. Aj Dybansta last night against ACU dropped 35, 6, and 4. Couple of things that stick out to me from this stat line before I go to you, Rois. 9 of 12 from the field. He had 35. That means he went 17 of 20 from the free throw line. We've had this discussion on the pod before, whether it's you, Chaz, Samajai, Dan. We've all had this discussion about how hard it is to drop even 20 points in college. He dropped 35, but on top of that, we were talking about it off camera. College is, they allow those guys to be a little bit more physical, especially since they're playing zone sometimes. He got to the line 20 times and made 17 of those. They were on Twitter calling him Aj Dybansta. Do I agree with that? Not necessarily, but I do think that's funny. Let me read y'all his stats for the 2025-26 season with BYU. 22.3 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 0.5 blocks, about a stock per game, 2 turnovers per game, but that's not extremely egregious, especially considering he's the primary ball handler. Not ball handler, but he's the primary scorer for BYU, and just with the way his game is, he needs the ball in his hands a lot to create. 57 from the floor, that's extremely efficient. Only 30% from three as well, so that's bound to go up in the NBA. 76.6% from the free throw line on 8 free throws attempted per game. I'm going to start with you, Rois. The conversation, the big three is already Boozer, Debansa, Peterson, Darren Peterson on Kansas, Cameron Boozer on Duke. Is this a game that really cements Aj Dybansta as the number 2 or possibly number 1 pick? How are you feeling about his game in general? And what did this game show you about his potential in the NBA?
Yeah, I will say, no matter who your number 1 pick is, whether it's Peterson, Boozer, or AJ, I think this is probably one of the biggest toss-ups for a number 1 pick there's been quite a while. Like last year, consensus was going to be Cooper Flag. Year before that, roischand, Alex Sarr, whatever. Wemby was for sure number 1 pick. And then 2022, Banchero. But just going off straight AJ, I think he's such a crafty player. Like, to score 20 points per game as a freshman is hard enough. Forget about 22 points and the way he's doing it. But yeah, he shoots 8 free throws a game. That's a lot. That's like an NBA level rim running, rim attacking kind of player. But I think he's also a player who's very smart with the way that he takes his shots. Like he's shooting 58% from the field. Like at 6'9", barely 200 pounds, that's a very, very efficient player. I think he's very crafty. He understands how he can, manipulate defenses, how he can get whistles. And a lot of the time, he is scoring and ones a lot. He is getting contact. He is scoring through contact a lot of these times. I would say for now, yes, he's the my number 1 pick. I think when there is a scorer that's as talented as this, as efficient as this, it's very, very hard to, pass up on him or say he's not the consensus number 1. But yeah, the shot isn't there. Maybe it's not as a consistent or as effective as you'd want it to be. But the way he attacks the rim and the way he scores, especially at that height, it's a little too hard to brush off and say he's not the number 1 guy right now.
Chad, how you feeling?
Kind of the same way. I think, in my opinion, out of him, Boozer, I think AJ is the clear number 1. Should be the number 1 pick of the draft. I mean, he's shown a lot of great fundamentals, and he has a lot of base work that it looks really good. I mean, 6'8" forward. He's great at rim running. I really like this guy. In my opinion, too, this draft class coming up is probably going to be one of the best draft classes we've had in a very long time. And he is just, Debansa has just been really fun to watch in general. 20 free throws, and if you watch the game, it wasn't like a shade kind of thing to where it was weak calls. It was genuinely, he was getting in there, and he was getting hacked. And then on top of that, he also finishes really well. So I feel like going in, he's going to be a top prospect. I kind of like Boozer over him. It's just a personal preference. A little biased because, of his dad. But, I mean, by the time by the time the end of June comes, he's probably going to be the 1 pick. And it sucks that, the Celtics won't tank for him. He's probably going to be a Pacer.
Yeah, I think I do owe Jaylen Brown an apology. I really did think number 1 Jaylen Brown option. It's like, oh, we finna get Aj Dybansta. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to get a top 4 team, and we're going to talk about Boston in another video. coming out on the channel as well. I think with AJ, between AJ and Boozer, it's really interesting. I think AJ's the best scorer between all three of them. I'm not dissing Darren Peterson. I mean, he's still coming off that hamstring injury. I think when he was playing NC State a couple of games ago, he did get put in a box. I mean, he finished with 17, but that was a very hard to come by 17 points. But Darren Peterson, he's a guy that can, like we've said before on this pod, kind of evolve Tyrese Maxey. He can play primary ball handler, get to his spots. He can also just be spot up shooter. People saying he's maybe ducking competition. I'm not sure. Obviously, it just depends on when those injuries are occurring and things of that nature. But obviously, we want to see him healthy, and hopefully, the hamstring thing, those always tend to stick with you. Hopefully, that's not the case with Darren Peterson. He takes the proper rest needed, or just kind of, brings himself back up to game speed at his own pace. I do think Cameron Boozer maybe has the most NBA-ready intangibles in terms of facilitating playmaking, getting in those passing lanes. I think we said it best on this pod. Like, his player comparison is basically like evolved Aaron Gordon in due time when it comes to what he can do for a team. That number one pick really depends on who gets it, right? If you get a guy like an AJ, I don't know if the Pacers, if they get the first pick, are going to pick him. They're probably either going to pick Peterson and maybe move on from Neesmith or Mathurin. It really depends. Or they're going to get a guy like a Boozer who can really, be that, gamemanship general, along with Tyrese Halliburton once, Tyrese is out, whether he's injured, hopefully not again, but whether or not he's off the bench. Just that second playmaker, it's not a diss to Siakam, but it's like when you got Jarris Walker coming off your bench and no Miles Turner, you need somebody who knows what to do with the ball and also who can play down low. Boozer provides that. If Washington gets the first pick, though, you gotta pick Debansa 1,000%. He's a guy who can be the star of a team, really change the culture, be a franchise leader. I also think that, there's too many guards on Washington. We've talked about this. You've got Trey Jones. You've got Bilal. You've got Keyshawn George. You've got, I'm blanking on names. You got CJ McCollum, right? You've got way too many young guards on this Wizards team, and I think Debansa is the guy that can certainly, change that culture a little bit. I think with AJ, our biggest critique was that sometimes he has Jason Tatum syndrome, where Tatum forgets he's 6'10", 240. Debansa going to the line 20 times, he remembers he's, 6'8", 200. Crafty finisher. Crazy athleticism. He had a crazy poster, like a one-handed kind of like off the putback. I was like, dang, this dude is cold. So I think he cemented himself as top 2 right now. Cameron Boozer is still doing great things, but I think it really depends whether or not GMs think that Boozer's skill set is going to translate faster and better to the NBA than Debansa, and I think that really just depends on who drafts him. That was like a really awkward silence.
I will say, I was just trying to unmute.
I was trying to unmute.
Not trying to even go.
You butted. But yeah, I do agree with what you're saying about AJ though. Although I feel like, in terms of intangibles, aside from the playmaking, I think AJ has it over Boozer. But I also feel like in terms of like long term, because Boozer has those connections, I feel like he's probably going to develop better than AJ come draft time. That's my opinion about Boozer versus AJ. But what about you, Rois?
I think you guys are right in the sense that Boozer's probably, I think he's like a more NBA ready prospect, not only just because, who his dad is and like the kind of come up he had, but also like, how tall is he? Like 6'10", 6'11"?
He's only 6'9". They're like the 6'9"?
same height? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing about, I'm gonna let you continue, but yeah, Boozer's only 6'9".
Yeah, like a guy who's like a tweener in the forward position who can like sort of handle the ball, knows how to pass like really well, knows how to like actually have the ball in his hands. He's not like a spot up shooter. He's not like a kind of hanging in the post kind of guy. But I will say, I think AJ's peak of what a player can be is higher than Boozer's. But it's just the fact that Boozer's floor is a little bit higher. Like if Boozer ends up being like a 15-10 guy, it's whatever. But I think AJ could be like a all NBA kind of, not saying Boozer can't be like an all-star, all NBA kind of guy. It's just Boozer might be the safer pick in terms of what his floor is as an NBA player. He knows if he can't be like a superstar or a star, he's still going to be like a solid in-between kind of role player. But yeah, and then also it depends who gets the number 1 pick as well. Like the Pacers aren't going to pick Boozer if you got Siakam in that position already. I could see the Wizards taking him as well, because I still believe that Alex Sarr isn't like a solidified center or power forward. I think he can like switch between the two positions. So if you do have Carlo or Boozer there, you wouldn't mind keeping Alex Sarr at the center position instead of moving him back to power forward. And then who else is in the mix? The Thunder might pick Boozer. the Thunder might pick AJ.
It's scary to think that the Thunder. I was gonna get to that later. The Thunder could potentially get Boozer or AJ.
Like,
And
bro,
they get AJ,
imagine
man. Oh
running,
my god, bro!
imagine
It's
running
like
Caruso, AJ Mitchell, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort. Like, that's a nightmare. And then you got Topic coming back. You still got Thomas Sorber. That the Clippers got to get it sorted out, man. They got to
the
like at
Clippers
least
sold
finish
their
like.
souls. And it's crazy because we all laughed at the Thunder for years. Like when it first happened, we all laughed at the Thunder, talking about they're drafting middle schoolers. And now that time has came, it was like, oh,
It's
those
true
middle
though.
schoolers are looking real grown right now. This is gonna be a nightmare, bro. It's like Clippers, man.
But yeah, Joachim, like you were saying, I think the Pacers are trying at least to move on from Matherin because they can't afford the contract. I saw some reports they can't afford the contract that he wants. So if you do have the opportunity to, package Matherin in and then bring in AJ, I think that's definitely like a possibility. And the Pacers are going to go back to being, top 4 or 5 team in the East once Tyrese comes back. So if you get like the rookie of the year or like at least like an all rookie first team kind of player, yeah.
With that being said, though, guys, I do think for this discussion, that's going to do it for us today. Debansa the Hooper, is he number one? It's really up to be decided, but right now he is hooping like the best scorer in this draft class. Pleasure having Chad Hayes and roischand with us. As always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow all of these socials, so the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube, our Spotify. We're on Threads now as well. Thank you for that, Rois, our W social media manager, who will be in California soon. I do want to say that we y'all gonna get some in-person, all of us some in-person content, whether it's running ones. I don't know what we're gonna do. If my ankle's healed up, we probably are gonna run ones, and I don't know who winning that. Marcus gonna show up for that, and they gonna be like, "Where he been at?" I'm like, he show up for basketball. He gonna show up for the hoops or the football runs. But again, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to click that notification bell for more daily BoxInOne content, and we will see you all in the next one.